how are you doing? This is Pastor Cheryl. Excuse me here. I'm doing a Grandma Drager thing here. I was going through, and we are down to the rejection at Nazerath, and just Matthew 13, 34 through 38, Mark 6, 1 through 6, and Luke 4 through 6 through 30. And I write it down for you. I write it all down for you so that you could see in the description. And so if I forget to tell, then it's there. It's there. And so anyway, here we go. Matthew, Mark, Luke. Simple, right? Matthew, Mark, Luke. I'm going to try to read the sections that has the most in it so that you get the whole story and don't get confused. Here. Luke. And he came to Nazareth, where he had been brought up, and went to the synagogue as his custom, and was on the Sabbath day, and he stood up to read. And there was given to him a book of the prophet Isaiah. How ironic. He opened the book and found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he has appointed me to preach the good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim and release the captives and recovering of the sight to the blind, so to set liberty those who are oppressed, to proclaim the acceptable year to the Lord." Okay. We read down there. So we'll come back up here. And this one has the most, so I'll read that. And that's Matthew, Mark, Luke. That's Luke, and he closed the book, gave it back to the attendant, and sat down. And the eyes were all in the synagogue were fixed on him. And he began to say to them, "Today the scripture has been fulfilled, and in your hearing." And all who spoke well of him and wondered at this gracious words which proceeded out of his mouth. And they said, and now we've got a gap here. You see this big gap? We'll jump over here. Saying, "Where did this man get all this? What is this wisdom?" We're reading Mark now. "Given to him. What mighty works are wrought by his hands, and not the carpenter. The son of Mary, brother of James and Joseph, Judas, Simon are here, aren't these his sisters with his?" And they took offense at him. Then we're back down here again. This is easy to do with a congregation. And he said to them, "Doubtless you will quote me in this proverb, 'Physician, heal yourself.' And we have heard you did this at Capernaum. Do here also in your own country." And he said, "Truly, I say unto you, no prophet is acceptable in his own country." Okay. We ended here. So we'll go to the one with the majority of the words. And as Luke, and Jesus said to them, "A prophet is not without," Matthew, Mark, that's Mark. "And Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor, except in his own country, and amongst his own kin, and his own house. And he could not do mighty work there, except that he laid his hands upon a few sick people, that healed them. And they marveled because of their unbelief." Like, oh, isn't this, the kid that grew up down the street? Don't you remember him, the carpenter's son? Oh, okay. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I'm just thinking, like, did he grow up to be a nice young man? Yeah, wasn't he a nice young man? And so the rest of the story goes from, Matthew, Mark, Luke, But in truth I tell you, there were many widows in Israel in the days of Elijah, when the heaven was shut up 3 years and 6 months, when there came a great famine over all. We're going to the next page. This will mystify you. Matthew, Mark, Luke. Luke has got it all. All the land. And Elijah was sent to none of them, but only to Zephareth, and the land of Sidon, to a woman who was a widow. And there were many lepers in Israel at that time of the prophet Elijah, and none of them was cleansed, but only Naaman and Syrian. And when they heard this, all were in the synagogue were filled with wrath, and they rose up and put him out of the city. They led him to the bow of the hill in which the city was built, that they might throw him down headlong over a cliff. But passing through the midst of them, he went away. He healed somebody. He did something good. He healed a couple of lepers. So they're going to kill him. Does that make sense? Think about it. That doesn't make sense to me at all. You say, this guy's got a real gift. Keep him around. That's what I would say, And they're going to throw him off a cliff? I don't know. I would say that there's, for some reason, the people in that part of the world, it just don't make any sense to me. And look what's going on over there in Israel, and I've been reading about it. Israel wants to bomb the nuclear facilities, which are 300 feet underneath solid rock in a mountain. And the problem with that, these nuclear facilities, it's a nuclear reactor. You don't bomb a nuclear reactor, and it's right by the Caspian Sea. Oh my goodness sakes! You don't put a nuclear bomb on, a nuclear reactor. I mean, you can't turn it off then, right? It'd be constantly chug-a-lugging like what happened in Chernobyl. They can't turn it off. It's a constant problem. And so why would anyone want to think to do that? And so our president, though, is convinced that doesn't want those people to have a nuclear bomb. Well, I can see why he doesn't want to have a bomb, but you don't go bombing a nuclear reactor. Not only that, but the bomb that they have to do it with, called a bunker buster, it's not nuclear. And it has to be delivered by specifically, and apparently years ago the Americans gave them one bunker buster bomb. Well, it has to be delivered by a specific jet. It looks like, just a big wing. Looks like a bat. 2 drivers. It's real strange looking. Stealth bomber. And so it would have to be direct hit, if they can do that, on this target. Boom, 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 boom. To go, because one of those bombs will only go down 200 feet. And that reactor is 300 feet. Well, to me, it's stupid. Like, leave it alone. Just, you cause more problems than good. It sounds dangerous to me. But Trump is determined. So, watch and learn. Watch. We'll see what he does. We're up to 9 minutes here. And the rejection at Nazerath, people are not a prophet. Moi. a minister, is not accepted by his own people. I have not found that to be true. I have really not found that to be true. My family members and friends accept me because they saw me struggle through seminary and get all the way through. And I was Phi Theta Kappa in undergrad and got straight A's. So they respect me. They do. I think it's rather bizarre that when I went to the hospital this week, had a severe infection, couldn't stand up, the room was spinning around in circles, so they took me to the hospital. They prefer to call me just Cheryl instead of Pastor Cheryl. And I remember, middle of the night, there was this one woman I thought was extremely rude, a nurse. And she was always lecturing me, and I said, "You may call me Pastor." And she goes, "I don't know what a pastor is. I don't know what a pastor. I won't call you Pastor." It's amazing how many people in this world don't know what clergy people are. That is a concern. That's a concern right there. And, but the staff there knows that I'm, on YouTube. So yes, they will be watching this. Who is this vicious lady in the middle of the night? It's just always yelling at me, and I'm like, what a terrible hospital. Oh my gosh, noise, 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 noise. Middle of the night, noise. Couldn't get any sleep. I finally got home, and I'm able to get some sleep here. Brought my meds with me. Going to see another doctor Tuesday. We'll try to get to the bottom of this. If we can. If we can. I will see you tomorrow. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.